Love finances, the other F word, and want to support the show? Become a patron by going to patreon.com/FTOFW. You'll get special features, a shout out on the air, and early releases. Or if you prefer, pick up some merchandise at financestheotherfword.com.
As fantastic a CFP as Mel O is, as wonderful an attorney as I am, and as good as Stormy is at whatever it is he does, please do note that anything said in our podcasts are our opinions alone and are not meant to be taken as financial or legal advice.
Welcome to Finances, the Other F Word, a Gen Xer podcast for musicians and music lovers, where we discuss money and music without all the pretentious bullshit. Here are your hosts, Zoe Terry, attorney at large, Stormy Andrews, founder of Yokel Local Marketing, and Mel O, certified financial planner and author of Finances, the Other F Word. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey guys. Oh, geez, that was weird. Welcome to Finances, the Other F Word. This show is going to be a little off the rails already. We are minus Stormy. He is immensely sick right now and hopefully on his way to recovering. What's the name of this episode, Zoe?
It's Britney, bitch.
It's Britney, bitch. I was going to call it something different, but since we decided that we were going to do this episode, she's been screaming, "It's Britney, bitch," to everyone who will listen nonstop since then. Let me shut my door.
It's Britney, bitch.
Point. See? and for our YouTube people who will be able to see this, we have a couple things going on. Number one, we both have libations.
Cheers.
Kink, kink. And so we're day drinking. So just fucking, and we don't got Stormy to reel us in. So God help you. But just for Zoe, I wore.
Oh God, but it's a Fala Llama t-shirt, but it's Christmas.
I got at Walmart last year on clearance for $2.
Oh,
and this is
worth every penny.
I just took the tag off today, and it fits good, makes my boobs look good, and it celebrates Christmas in November all at the same time. Just for you, Zoe. That's payback for all of the fucking cat t-shirts that you wear constantly and show me about. And as she's wearing one now. Yeah, broad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why? Do they look big?
No,
or do they look saggy?
No, I didn't know the way you were leaning. I just wanted to make sure you weren't like going to poke our listeners' eyeballs out.
Oh God, I can never ever not wear a bra.
Well,
it would be obscene. It would be, like I said, I'd be cleaning my floor with my bazookas. So
well, some of us can wear tight tank tops, unfortunately, and would never do it in public, but I can walk around my house, unfortunately, pretty comfortably and not have much issue. Thank you for that. Before we get started, this is something that I keep forgetting to mention on the podcast. I have rolled out some financial plans, you guys. So I know that we don't talk, we talk about finances on this podcast a lot. Obviously, that's kind of our fucking name, but we don't really talk about your finances. And so one of the things that I've rolled out in my industry, if you were to get a financial plan done for you, they usually start at about $2,500. And so I rolled out a kind of a do-it-yourself with my assistant financial plan that is a 12-month commitment, and it's $50 a month. And each month we go through a different aspect of the financial plan. So at the end of the 12 months, you have a full financial plan, just as I would do for, the 1% client versus the 99% client. And we've talked about on this podcast a lot about how my heart is at financial literacy and the difference, alcohol's kicking in, and the difference between the 1 and the 99% and closing the gap. And so nobody in my industry is doing this, you guys. And then after the 12-month commitment, once we finish the financial plan, get you an individualized financial plan in place, then you can keep me on retainer at $19.99 a month. So if you go to financestheotherfword.com/packages, then you will have access. You'll see exactly what it entails, but it's something very important for you guys to be aware of, especially with January coming up. I mean, the deal is, guys, is that I love what I do and you need this help. So whether you think you need it or not, I'm telling you, I know what I do and you need this help. So that is, I think, all of my announcements besides my Fala Llama shirt and the fact that we're day drinking and the fact that financial packages are financialtherefore.com/packages, which you will have to check out the landing page after this. Zoe, it has not went live yet, but it will be live in like 2 days.
I will. I'm excited.
And so Britney Spears, there's been a lot of shit going on with Britney Spears lately. First of all, she's 38 now. She still looks fine as fuck. And her boyfriend, who I think is younger than her, is delicious right now. Like, he is tan and muscular. And I'm just like, holy freaking crap. This guy is hot as balls. And
he was a fitness trainer and a model, apparently. Wow. So
I believe it. I believe it, because this motherfucker's hot. But anyway, so she she's currently battling her father, she has been doing for many years. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what a conservatorship is in financial terms and what that actually looks like. But first, as if Zoe can get through her notes without screaming "It's Britney, bitch" constantly.
I'm not sure I can.
Yeah, or stopping to send me endless Britney memes. She has serious, you guys, it's crazy. So she has a timeline on Britney Spears' life, and I will let Zoe take it away.
It's Britney, bitch.
No, you got to be like, it's Britney, bitch. Like, she's all fucking.
Oh, we've got all different kinds of Britney bitches, though. We've got,
true.
You know, it depends. It depends what. I think what day of the week it is.
For every mood.
There is.
Yeah.
And Mel and I did succeed in having an entire conversation made up entirely of Britney Spears gifts, did we not? And we could have carried on, but I think one of us had to put an end to it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Which was me, because I had to go to bed, and she would have just stayed up until like 2 a.m, just gifting the fuck out of me with Britney gifts.
I would have gifted you all night long. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's Britney, bitch. So, first of all, I didn't know where that came from.
That's one of her songs.
Yeah, I know that now.
How did you not know that?
Because, I mean, I'm not a huge Britney Spears music fan, to be honest. But now I know that it came from Gimme More. But
right. Have you just been literally screaming, "It's Britney, bitch," without knowing where it came from?
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. But to be fair to me, and we obviously need to be, Britney, bless her, didn't know where it came from either.
Really?
She was given a radio interview in 2016. Couldn't remember where it came from. No idea. So bless her. If she couldn't remember, then I think it's okay that I didn't remember. Right?
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
So anyway, Britney Jean Spears, as you said, she's 38. She's going to be 39 very soon. She was born on the 2nd of December, 1981. Oh, bless her, young little thing, young little thing.
I was in first grade.
Yeah, I was
first grade.
Yeah, we don't have first grade. Well, the equivalent of that in England, probably up one. Anyway, she was born in Macomb. I don't know if that's how you say it, in Mississippi. I can spell it too if you want me to, but I won't.
Can you can you still do it? How much alcohol have you had?
I'm on my first one, so MISSI Where? Yeah, is that right?
That's a weird way. Yeah, but that's a weird way to double. I mean, it sounds like that's just more copy. You got to say like double it, like it just.
That's the only way you remember it. When you're growing up, that's how you taught to remember it. So,
well, over in England, not in the South. But anyway, go ahead.
You wouldn't need. I mean, yeah. But anyway,
dude, I could spell it back then, still can.
Go on then.
MISSISIPPI. That's how we learned.
I think you might have missed an S. But...
No, I did. MISSISSIPPI.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Because every time we got to pee-pee, we'd be like, "Yeah, pee-pee," like you're fucking idiots. Which actually, with enough alcohol, that might still be funny again. I don't know. Give me about 30 minutes.
We'll try that again at the end. But she was raised in Kentwood, Louisiana, and she was the middle of 3 children, and her parents are probably almost as famous as she is, Jamie and Lynn Spears. And she was precocious even as a small child, and she tried out for the Mickey Mouse Club, the all-new Mickey Mouse Club at 8. Didn't get in at 8, but went on to do other things, and then went back and auditioned again at the age of 11 and got in, and was famously, we didn't have that show over in England, but I've seen clips of it. Looks amazing. Was famously on the show with other greats as Justin Timberlake. Ooh,
yeah,
I would.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would
Oh yeah.
totally do Justin Timberlake. Yes, without a doubt.
You were like, you got all, yeah,
It's seriously,
it
yeah.
was too
That's
much
how you
there,
know I'm
wasn't it?
serious. It
Yeah.
was. I overloaded for a second.
Cannot compute. Let's reboot
No,
Mel there at the thought
fuck
of
Justin
JT.
Timberlake. Yeah.
Yeah, and Christina Aguilera. Yeah, see,
Dude,
whatever.
literally, we talk a lot of shit. We're really not that drunk. I don't know what's happening
No, I
right now.
know. Not at all. I mean, look, I've only had half of a fruit-based lady drink. Anyway, the show was cancelled in 1995, and she carried on with her true love, which was singing, and was signed by Jive Records at the tender age of 15 in 1997. And by 1999, she'd had her first album released, which was Baby One More Time. And Rolling Stone named it the greatest debut single, the single off that album, the greatest debut single of all time in 2020. So,
Right? Recently?
yeah, in 2020, Rolling Stone named that the greatest debut single of all time.
Wow.
Okay, not sure if I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
But anyway, famously, she appeared in the video wearing the, schoolgirl uniform. And
She looked hot. She looked
oh
smoking hot.
God, yeah. And throughout, she has remained so. She is like, yeah, a beautiful girl. So her first album was Baby One More Time in 1999. And she followed that in 2000 with Oops, I Did It Again. And both albums were certified diamond in the US. And Oops, I Did It Again held a record for 15 years for being the best-selling teenage artist of all time. So then moving forward in 2001, she signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Pepsi and came out with another album, Britney, where she began to try and move away from the innocent kind of image that she'd formerly portrayed and be a bit more grown up, shall we say. And she also started her acting career, and she was in a movie called Crossroads. I've never seen it, but I'm not sure that many people did. But so she started to be more raunchy around that time. And in 2003, she was famously on the MTV Awards with Christina Aguilera, and she snogged Madonna during a performance. Yeah. Do you remember that? She made out with Madonna.
Of course. Yeah, but so Madonna kissed Britney first, then kissed Christina, and it was like she never kissed Christina at all. It's like they focused on that she kissed Britney first, and then they just completely forgot that.
Yeah, well, no one really cared about Christina, do they? That much? Not like Britney. But.
Dude, seriously, that piece of hair, you should put it somewhere because it's
starting to annoy you as much as it's annoying me. Okay, hang on a minute. Shall I just go and do a Britney?
Yeah, let's
cut it off.
That.
No. Okay. There we go. It's gone.
Okay.
So her next album was In the Zone, and the top single off that was Toxic, which
I love that song.
Yes, I do.
And when she was in the bodysuit with all the little flashy things, and she's like basically she's naked, y'all, if you haven't seen it, and she's in a sequence and she has little a little see-through thing, and she's like doing her Britney stuff, and I'm like, fuck, she was
Britney, bitch. I mean,
dude,
it's that kind of Britney bitch.
I love that song. And when I was going to clubs, they would mix it in. They would never play the song because they didn't want to be be like, hey. But as soon as they did, even people who are like diehard rap hard people, they're like, fuck that. They like that song.
Yeah, everyone does, I think. Then moving into January 2004, if you remember, she famously married her childhood friend, Jason Alexander, in Las Vegas for a hot second. The whole thing was annulled 2 days later. So we're starting to see her, I don't know, maybe go downhill a little bit. And then began her famous relationship with her backup dancer, Kevin Federline, whose girlfriend was pregnant with their second child at the time.
Ew, I didn't know that part.
Oh, yeah. No, yes. They already had a kid and she was pregnant with their second child. And so that caused huge controversy. Yeah.
Dude, if I'm looking at getting in any kind of relationship with you and you already have a kid, we're done before we get started. Number one. Number two, if your current or ex-girlfriend is already knocked up again, I'm like, ew, where are you putting your dick, bro? Like,
Yeah.
seriously. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
So
That
that was,
fucking grosses me out.
yeah, that didn't give her a lot of good cred back then. But oh yeah, do you not remember her coming out and doing interviews, heavily pregnant, and yeah, she was not happy with the Britney.
Oh, the girlfriend. Okay, yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't remember that. I wasn't that infatuated with Britney, obviously.
It's Britney, bitch.
Point taken.
Okay. Anyway, so Britta's wanted what she wanted, and she married Kevin, which I could never understand.
Nope.
In September 2004. Then things started to go somewhat downhill. She had to have surgery on her knee and had to cancel the last part of her tour. She then released the greatest hits, My Prerogative, and she did a cover of Bobby Brown's hit by the same name. The sales weren't that great of that album, but around that time, she announced that she was pregnant with her first child. And apparently, I'd never even heard of this, but in 2005, her and Kevin did a reality show called Britney and Kevin Chaotic. Apparently, I'm not the only one who hadn't heard of this because it wasn't very popular. No. Her son, Sean Preston, was born in September 2005. And shortly after, in February 2006, she landed herself in a bit of hot water because she was caught on camera driving her car with her baby on her lap.
I remember that.
Yeah. So, yeah, there was an uproar about her terrible parenting decision there. And she apologized and said she was just trying to get away from the paparazzi.
Which is all the more Ralphie, by the way, listeners, Ralphie May, he has a humorous, fucking hilarious skit or, stand up that he does specifically on Britney Spears. And he called her white trash. He said that she wasn't going crazy. She was just showing her white trashness. It's fucking hilarious. You guys got to try to find it.
I will. September 2006, her second son, Jaden James, was born. And 2 months later, she files for divorce from Kevin. And then soon after, she starts really going off the rails, partying with Paris Hilton. She then starts going in and out of rehab. And it's then in February 2007 that is the famous incident where she's caught on camera shaving her head in a California beauty salon. Didn't she also have an umbrella or something that she was smacking against a car?
Car, yeah, which did not do her any favors, because if you've seen the picture, which I'm sure we all have, she really looked like she was having a break, because I mean, newly shaved head, but her eyes looked like this poor girl, she broke. She had a mental break for sure. Unfortunately, it was captured in front of everybody.
Yeah, which is just not cool. And then that led to the beginning of a custody battle with her ex Kevin over her children. She became estranged from her mother. She did, to her credit, then release her album Blackout, which the single Gimme More came off of. It's Britney, bitch. And that did come out to a warm reception. But then in summer 2007, was her famous performance at the MTV Awards, where she was just a fucking hot mess.
Oh God, that was I was so embarrassed for her. You could tell she was lip syncing. And I don't necessarily mind if you're lip syncing, if you're doing dances and all this kind of stuff. I mean, you just don't have that much air, but her dancing was lackluster. She didn't even look that good, like in the face. And she was lip syncing awfully. And I remember watching it going, what the fuck am I looking at right now?
Oh, she was just a mess. And then a few days later, she was charged in connection with a hit and run incident in a parking lot. So she was just going downhill. So in January 2008 is when she was committed to hospital against her will for a psychiatric evaluation. And that was after apparently she locked herself in a bathroom with one of her children and refused to return him to Kevin after a visit. And that's when eventually Kevin got full custody of both of the boys. And like I said, she was, admitted for a psych evaluation. And that's when her parents became more involved in her finances and her career, which Mel's going to talk about in more detail. But apparently her parents became involved with her, concerned with her manager at the time, Sam Lutfi, and felt they needed to take control of her finances. But like I said, Mel will talk about that. But later that year, she released Circus, and the number one single off that was Womanizer. And despite all of the issues that she'd had, 2011, she released Femme Fatale and became engaged to Jason. Can't read my own handwriting. Wonderful. But she engaged to someone, but it only lasted not even 2 years. So I don't even remember him. But during that time in 2012, she became a judge on the X Factor, if you remember that. She only lasted a season, but she was out there. And then in 2013, she released Britney Jean.
Jean? That's an album? Britney Jean?
Britney Jean, yeah, because that's her name.
Yeah, I know, but...
Yeah. Apparently, I mean, it didn't get critical acclaim.
Dude, Southerners, I don't know what it is why everybody has to have two first names. Seriously, I mean...
Don't you? Oh, no, you only have...
Well, now, yeah. That's I cleaned that shit up.
Well, you know mine. I don't like to talk about it because you Americans get it confused with something else. So, oh my Lord above, where did that come from? I don't know.
I don't know. You're barely keeping it together today.
I know. And then in 2013, she began her residency here in Las Vegas at Planet Hollywood. And originally it was only supposed to be for 2 years, but she ended up staying until 2017. Did you ever go see her?
I didn't, but it was funny. I was waiting for, it was the West Coast something. It was like, it was Snoop, and it was E40, and it was Blackstreet, and it was a whole bunch of like bands like that. And I was going to that, and I was in Planet Hollywood, and they have that circle bar where like right where you go into the thing, it's kind of like in the middle, almost like you're leaving the casino going into the shopping part. There's this big round circle bar there for some reason. And there is a dude that was like, I don't know, probably like late 20s, had a mohawk like all the way up. It had to be pointed. It had to be seriously 6 to 8 inches off his head, spray painted Britney on both sides. And I was like, wow. And he went into the show. He had a great old time.
Did he have bits on his forehead?
No, he didn't.
He should have. That would have made it perfect.
Well, there's a video on YouTube where on one of Britney's tours, there's apparently a guy that had seen it more than once, had heavy fans. And so right before she does that song, they get like in line, and she's like looking at a profile. And so before it comes on, like it's, relatively quiet in the audience, and you just hear this guy scream out, "It's Britney, bitch." And she just starts laughing because it like hasn't even started yet. But I mean, I would have went seen her. I mean,
I would have. Yeah.
I don't know if I would have wanted to pay.
No, if you were going to give it to me free or cheap, I would. But I wouldn't pay big money for it. But it would be great fun to go see it.
Oh, yeah. And get a good little buzz and scream, "It's Britney, bitch," throughout the whole concert.
Throughout the whole concert, yeah. I mean, that's what would be happening.
I know.
Sadly. Anyway, in 2015, she brought out another album, Glory, and that's when she met model trainer Sam Asghari. I'm sure I'm crucifying his name, but I also know that he will forgive me because we're tight like that.
Yeah.
Right. And during her time here in Las Vegas, she became quite fond of the place, I believe. And in November 2017, she oversaw the opening of the Nevada Childhood Cancer Foundation, Britney Spears campus, which was made possible through her donating $1 million from her ticket sales. So that's very cool. And she also donated a painting to an auction to support the victims of the October 2017 shooting. Mm-hmm. And good old Robin Leach paid $10,000 for it. And then when the residency here ended in 2017, she announced that she would be going on tour, and she did. And then in August 2018, there was more hoo-ha with her ex, Kevin, who was demanding that she pay $100,000 in child support arrears. And apparently she was already paying him $20,000 a month in child support. But he wanted more because the kids were approaching teenagers. And then in January 2019, she was actually due to start another Las Vegas residency, but she announced an indefinite work hiatus. At first, she said it was because she needed time to support her ailing father, Jamie. But in April, she was admitted to a treatment center. And then around August 2019, Kevin got a restraining order for the children after an incident at her father's house. And then in early 2020, she was hospitalized for fracturing her foot while she was dancing. So, you know, things were still not going good for her. And throughout all of this, there was the Free Britney campaign going on social media, which I'm sure Mel will talk more about it, and lots of rumors about what it was that was going on in terms of her mental health. In terms of her custody issues, she had managed to get it back to 50-50, but then it went back to 70-30 to Kevin. But after that incident at her dad's house, it pretty much is mostly Kevin has the kids. But she just posted on Instagram like a few days ago that she was in Hawaii for an early birthday celebration with her boyfriend, and she, you know, looks well. But in terms of work, and she's still on her indefinite work hiatus. And I think Mel is going to tell us more about, various news reports have said that she's not going to do any more work as long as this conservatorship is in place, and as long as the arguments continue about it. And there hasn't been anything more from her of late. And I'll pass it over to it's Britney, bitch, Mel.
So this beer that I am currently partaking of is making me thirsty. So like I'm double fisting like water and beer, because I used to drink beer when I was in my 20s. Then I switched to vodka. Then I switched to whiskey. Then I had to stop drinking whiskey, had to go back to vodka, then can't drink vodka anymore. And so now I'm back at fucking bitch ass beer.
I'm telling you, you should try the little hard ciders.
I've tried them. They taste like grossness.
Oh, cheers.
Yeah. Cheers to yourself. Okay, so let me have another sip of the. I wish you guys could smell the aroma coming off of it. It's pretty fucking delicious. All right, it's Britney, bitch. Okay, so here we go. There's a couple characters we're going to talk about. So I'm just going to give you the quick rundown. Some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about overlaps slightly with what Zoe was talking about. So you have James Spears, who is her father, who is often referred to as Jamie. And I'll say James and Jamie, just so you know they're the same person. Lynn Spears is the mother. Jamie Lynn Spears is the sister. Jaden Federline is the youngest of the two sons, as Zoe mentioned. Jody Montgomery was granted temporary conservatorship. We're going to talk about that, what that is. Vivian Lee Thoreen is the father's attorney. And Samuel Ingham is Britney's attorney. And so, as Zoe talked about, she started at 16. And in 2008, when she was 26 years old, she was committed to a psychiatric hospital against her will. But there are some people saying that it wasn't against her will. But anyway, and her father, James, obtained temporary legal control of her affairs. And then, so he was authorized by the California Superior Court to control his daughter's finances, healthcare, and aspects of her daily routine. And that means that she couldn't make her own appointments. She couldn't decide to get in the car and go drive somewhere without letting him know where she's going, nor could she spend her millions. And that's going to become very interesting here when we start looking at some numbers. She tried to stop the conservatorship, but the judge basically at the time said that she was so mentally incompetent that she couldn't even choose her own attorney. So basically, what we saw is November 2008, the conservatorship that Jamie, the father, and a lawyer, Andrew Wallet, who was assisting him, became permanent. And Andrew Wallet's going to come up here in a little bit again. And it's been there ever since. And so it was very interesting with this attorney, Andrew Wallet, who kind of comes in at the beginning and then disappears out, because as they were working on the conservatorship, he actually started requesting a raise, saying that he wasn't getting enough money. So when I first started researching this, as Zoe talked about, there's a whole, like, I had no fucking clue. There's a whole movement called hashtag Free Britney, and I'm sitting here going, okay, these guys, like, the fans are, this is rabid. Like, this is craziness. She's a grown woman. You don't need to free her. I mean, this is nuts. But the interesting thing was, is as I started looking at the legal proceedings a little bit, I mean, just on my brain's level that I can understand from a financial standpoint, I'm kind of like, okay, seems like there is some kind of shifty shit going on here, because it's not typical for the attorneys in the middle of it to ask for more money. And we'll talk about basically what they did as the conservatorship. And so basically, Andrew Wallet, the attorney that appears at the very beginning that works with the father, Jamie, asked for a raise, and I don't think that he got it. But of course, most of the court documents are sealed
Right.
to protect her and give her some privacy. And to this day, nobody knows what the actual medical condition is.
Right.
So, yeah, she shaved her head. Yeah, she went to psychiatric ward, but nobody actually knows what the condition was. And in an interview, they were like, oh, she said she's bipolar. And if you read the fucking quote in the interview, that's not what she says. She says that when
No.
she goes on stage, she's a different person. It's almost like she's bipolar because she has a different persona on stage. Same thing as Beyonce, right? When, she has Sasha Fierce when she's on stage, and then she has, Beyonce and what the fuck is Madonna has one. Well, fuck Madonna, but Madonna
Yeah.
has one too that I can't think of right now. That was her persona when she gets on stage. So she had made an off the cuff comment that, it was like she had bipolarism. And then everybody's like, she's bipolar. It's like, God, guys, just fucking give people a chance to breathe. So anyway, nobody knows what her medical condition is. And then for the past 2 years, like Zoe touched on, she did have a residency here for a very long time. And then she ended up canceling it. And then she did go back into another mental health facility. I don't know if that was due to exhaustion or some mysterious condition, or maybe she just needed to get the fuck away from people, to be honest with you. In fall of 2019, as Zoe had talked about how Britney originally said that she was leaving to take care of her ailing father, Jamie had to temporarily leave his role as conservator, and we're going to talk a little bit about what that means towards the end as we wrap up, because he needed to have colon surgery. And a lady by the name of Jody Montgomery, who was working as Spears' healthcare manager, came in. And so what's interesting about Jody Montgomery is that to be a conservator, you don't have to be a fiduciary. Now, a fiduciary, like with a certified financial planner, there is an implied fiduciary responsibility when you are doing actions of financial planning. That's one of the reasons why you want to work with a CFP. And I remember I was on a radio show one time, and the guy asked me, he's like, oh, what does being a fiduciary mean? He's like, does that mean you have to make money for your clients? And I'm like, motherfucker, we're live on air on the radio. And I was like, no, nobody can promise. No. Okay. Look, nobody, listen to me, in my industry, nobody can promise you they make you money. Okay. That's a big fucking deal. I was like, no, don't put that shit with my name on the air. No, that means that you have to put their needs above yours, that you have to be responsible and prudent with their money. And so her father is not a fiduciary. Neither is that Andrew Wallet guy, the first attorney. But according to Jody Montgomery's website, she says that she is a licensed fiduciary. Now, I don't necessarily know what license you have that makes you a fiduciary if you're not actually investing money. So anyway, in my industry, it depends on what capacity you're working with the client, as far as if there's an implied fiduciary responsibility, et cetera. So in August 2020, her court-appointed lawyer, expressed a desire for the father to not return to his role, and they actually petitioned to have Montgomery stay on, which looks like that was eventually overturned. But one of the things that Spears's attorney was basically accusing Jamie of financial mismanagement and repressive secrecy, which we're going to touch on here in a second. And he wrote a whole thing where he acknowledged the Free Britney movement. And I mean, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that. There's actually a podcast called Britney Graham
Yeah.
that follows this really closely. So if you guys want to, just overload on Britney, you can finish listening to us and then go over there.
Britney's Graham is what
Britney's
it's
Graham.
called.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't know it was a possessive. So Britney's Graham. And they go into this whole conspiracy of her being locked away. And we'll talk a little bit about more of what that looks like.
Yeah. Some of the conspiracies are wild. So
I know.
yeah.
And she had the thing that I thought was so amazing is that she had a picture where she looks a little disheveled on Instagram, and somebody swears they can see call 911 in her eyelashes. Did you come across that?
No, but I did read one where some people believe she's been killed and cloned by the global elite.
Right. So
Britney, bitch.
There's that conspiracy, but literally, and I'm looking at this picture, you guys, I'm like, where the fuck is this picture? And it has a big circle on Google, and I'm like trying to get this thing large enough, and nowhere in there can I see that it says literally in her eyelashes right here. It supposedly says call 911. And they said, oh, she has a picture of her nails all chipped, looking kind of rough, holding flowers. And, oh, she's holding this type of flower, which means she needs to be saved. I'm like, you guys, look, you need
clutching at straws.
You need to stop what you're doing right now and get a fucking life. Okay. Seriously. If you have so much fucking time on your hands, and you got to think, because most of, Britney's 38 now. So most of her people who grew up with her, these aren't teenagers. Okay. These aren't TikTok people. These are fucking, Gen Ys, who are older now. And if you're looking on fucking Instagram to think that Britney Spears is sending you specifically a message that she needs freedom, seriously, get a fucking life. I mean, God, I don't even follow Britney Spears, but the last thing I would do would be like, oh, there's a picture of Britney, and just go by it. But no, I'm like, oh, it says call 911. And then as soon as this was found, now all of a sudden people are seeing it. I'm like, there ain't fucking shit there. I don't know what drugs you're doing, but I mean, good on you, I guess. But y'all, it does not say call 911. Whatever.
I'm going to have to look that up now and have a look.
Do it. You should look at it right now while I'm talking.
Right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just Britney Spears call 911.
And then if I see it, I'm going to call 911.
Yeah, if you see it, I want you to share your screen with me, because I could not find a picture that said anything in it. You have to make sure that, trolls haven't actually wrote it on there. Anyway, so there's this, this whole thing. And throughout all of this, even though the attorney is saying that they don't want the father to return and they want Montgomery to stay on, they're saying this whole time that the conservatorship is voluntary and that she's not currently looking to end it, which is absolute bullshit. If you look at the multiple times she's went to court, they're trying to end this conservatorship. So I don't know what the fuck they're saying there, but that's what the lawyer said, as far as the PR person. And they're just saying that they're asking for some transparency from the father on her actual financial situation. And they want her to be able to act as an independent person. I don't know what may or may not be wrong with the woman, but she's 38 years old and she's been working since she was 16 or 11, if you count the Mickey Mouse Club. I don't know. I think she's grown enough to do whatever she wants to do with her money. So Jamie, the father,
and let's not forget that an independent judge, at least one, probably more, and probably various psychiatrists have had to opine that she is not fit to be in control of her finances right now. Do you know what I mean? It's not just her mom and dad making this decision. They've made these decisions with a judge.
Yeah, well, but I mean, my thing is that I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what her actual medical condition is. And of course those are sealed and it's all to speculation. My thing is that she seems to be okay. She made the money, let her spend the money. But I mean, maybe she would be, I don't know off the, but we're going to talk a little bit about her net worth and one of the things that Jamie is saying that he's done with all this. So Jamie, the father, has sued and allegedly threatens fans who has posted things on social media. So basically he's like threatening to sue Britney Spears' fans about the conservatorship, which again, all of you guys have too much time. As Zoe touched on, Kevin Federline did have a situation where Jamie, well, according to this, and I know you said it was at Jamie's house, but according to this, Jamie broke through the door and tried to intimidate Sean Preston, Federline, and Spears' older son. And they found no evidence of abuse, but Federline was granted a restraining order to keep Jamie away from their two sons. So something had to happen enough, I would assume, for him to be able to prove in court that he could get a restraining order. And $20,000 a month, you guys, to raise two kids. And I don't care if you're a female or male. I do the same thing. When I hear people like Dr. Dre's wife, she's putting up some ridiculous bullshit numbers that she needs all this maintenance. Fuck you. Okay. You do not need $20,000 a month to raise a kid. I help clients all the time who do not get any child support. Zoe did it with no child support on two kids and got her bar degree and her lawyer, and I'm not saying that everybody can do it. And obviously if we need help, but $20,000, you can't fucking make it for two kids. These bitches ain't in private school. These are little motherfucking kids that go to a junior fucking high school. I mean, I can't stand when people do that shit. It drives me absolutely crazy. It's like, don't fuck with numbers like that. I hate that.
Mm-hmm. Just because they can.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess it's all relative, right? I mean, if you have a guy who, works construction and he only gets paid XYZ money and then he has two kids from previous marriage, it's going to go based off his income. And I get that part, but at what point does that rule fall under common sense? Like if it's 10% of their income. I don't know what it is. If it's 10% of the paying spouse's income that they're basing it on, at what point does the spouse that's paying the child support make so much money that the 10% is completely ridiculous? Like, should you just always get 10%? If it's Bezos, do you get 10% automatically because that's how the law is? Is that, I mean, I don't know. And I don't even know if that's law. I'm just saying I never understood that. That really frustrates me. But this is what pissed me off the most. So you have the whole Free Britney movement and everybody's like, oh, Britney's begging for help. And then you have the Britney's fans starting to fuck with her youngest son, Jaden. And unfortunately, he's eating it up. And it's pissing me off because he's being an idiot, and it's pissing me off because her fans are being cockbags. But basically the Jaden, they were trying to get, people were trying to tell him on social media, like to trash talk his grandfather. And basically they kept asking him things about his mother's health and her legal situation. And they kept trying to push him and push him. And what he replied, not fuck you guys, this is private, not none of your damn business, eat a dick. No, he replied that he'd open up once he reached 5,000 followers.
Yeah, he's a 14-year-old boy, though. I mean, they shouldn't be putting him in that position.
They shouldn't. But come on, even at 14, like you think that's. I mean, I don't have any kids. Maybe at 14 you do, and I can't remember because 14 was a while ago for me. But at 14, you think it's okay to put your family on blast to get five. By the way, not millions of followers.
No, I know 5,000. Set your sights a little bit higher, dude.
Yeah. There's commoners out there, bitch, with higher than 5,000 followers.
Lily Lou is almost there, dude.
Yeah. So, and she's a cross-eyed kitten.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So maybe aim a little higher, Jaden. Like, get your fuck. If you're gonna spill some secrets, like fucking just expand your horizons. That's all I'm saying. Because 5,000 followers is poultry. Mm-hmm. Now, this is where it gets interesting, though, is that with the whole Free Britney movement, as I'm reading all this stuff, and I read so many articles, and I'll put the links in the show notes, I was just like, these people are nuts. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. Like Zoe said, hey, obviously there's judges or there's, healthcare professionals that are looking at this and saying, look, there's something wrong with her. And so all these people that are freaking out, it doesn't make any sense. However, the thing that's very interesting, and I'm assuming the word adjudicated means just processed, right? Like processed in court.
Decided on. Adjudicated means decided. Yeah.
There you go. See, that's why we have a lawyer as one of our co-hosts. So the thing that's really interesting about this is that the case with her conservatorship is going through probate court. So it's being adjudicated in probate court, not in mental illness court. Now, when you're talking about probate court, we've talked about on this podcast before, we're talking about estates. And probate court is typically where you have conservatorship over an elderly person who has any type of cognitive disease that they are not coming back from, Alzheimer's or dementia. Okay, so when a conservator is put in place, provided that they're not fucking or stealing from the person, it's pretty much determined that they're going to be there indefinitely until the conservatee did conservate. Is it, how do you say that, Zoe?
Conservator or conservatee, I guess. Yeah.
Conservatee, yeah. Passes away. And in mental health court, where it should be, in mental illness health court, every single year, Jamie, being the father, has to go back in front of the court every year, and they have to reevaluate Britney's condition, and then he has to basically get reappointed every single year. That's not the court system that this has been in since 2008. It has always been in the probate court, which doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. And so when I looked at that, I was like, I'm like, that's weird. That's weird. And I don't know what the deal is with that, but when I read that, I was like, that doesn't make sense. And basically, Britney Spears has been quoted saying that she will not perform, according to her attorney, that she will not perform again if her father is in charge of her career. And so that has been kind of the reason why she's basically saying she's taking a hiatus. And so we had Lou Taylor. So this is one of the things they're citing as Jamie Spears's overreach. So Lou Taylor was Spears's most recently former business manager, and she's pretty colorful anyway, but we won't get into that. There's a lot of LGBT bashing and marriages between a man and a woman, and that's this Lou Taylor, which is very interesting. But anyway, so she resigned from her position as the business manager. And on October 28th, there was a letter from Jamie's lawyers that basically said that, hey, she's left, or we fired her, or whatever the case. Spears was not given any type of notice, and instead, her father replaced Taylor with Michael Caine without discussing his appointment or his salary or his terms of employment with Spears, and basically was just like, he just said, hey, this guy's out, this person's in, we're not going to disclose you how much you're paying him or how much I'm paying him on your behalf. We're not going to tell you who he is, and you have no actual control over who the business manager is. So I guess when it comes down to basic things, if you're trying to truly protect somebody from themselves, that's one thing, right? But if you're like making decisions literally about your career, if you get a shit manager in there, that's going to affect your overall career. And so he basically, Jamie Spears said that he was keeping up the continuity of his daughter's business as far as just replacing the business manager as fast as possible. And of course, legal advocates who are now involved, believe it or not, are saying that there's not enough checks and balances in the conservatorship. And so an hour before the August hearing, Jamie asked the court to reappoint Spears' conservator, Andrew Wallet. So here's the original attorney who actually filed for a raise and then somehow fell by the wayside, and I couldn't really find out why. And so Jamie tries to get him back in and they felt it was retaliation because Spears has refused to perform as long as her father is in charge of her career, and that if she doesn't perform, that's obviously, which now nobody's performing, but if she doesn't perform, that was going to really make him have to tighten his budget, which is hilarious because I'll tell you how much money she's worth now, $60 million in cash. That he would have to tighten his budget, which again is ludicrous. And the court basically said, okay, we will consider future petitions for a suspension or the outright removal of the father. They left the door open. So here we have James' attorney, Thoreen, come in, and she says that, he has and this is where you can play with numbers, guys. So you really got to catch this shit that she's about to say. So Vivian Lee Thoring, Jamie's lawyer, has came in and said that she was defending his perfect record and the run as conservator because which she has seen because of Jamie's leadership, that her net worth has gone from being in debt to well over $60 million. Okay. So if somebody tells you that, well, I've done such a good job being your conservator because when I started with you, you were in debt and now you're worth $60 million. You'd be like, oh, he has done a good job. Okay. But all that stuff that Zoe just talked about, performances, tours, albums. Okay, she fucking did that. It wasn't like in 2008 when he got appointed, she just stopped fucking working, right? And then he did some magic fucking voodoo shit where he took her net worth from negative to make her worth 60 million. No, motherfucker, she was working that whole time. Like she's still fucking, getting diamond albums and her other things are still making money. Bitch, you haven't done that much. Like I'm not saying that he didn't come in and clean some stuff up, but you haven't done that much. Don't be like breaking yourself, patting yourself on the back. She's been working the whole fucking time. And obviously she's still in demand because she kept selling out her residencies here. And so Ingram, Britney Spears' attorney, they petitioned the court to get a corporate fiduciary in there. So here's that fiduciary coming back in again. And the court did say that now that the Bessemer Trust, who is a fiduciary, will be managing or co-conservators along with Jamie Spears, who is pissed off about it and is now trying to make that not so. So the court seems to be slowly trying to maybe work a little bit with Britney Spears on this, but at least having a fiduciary in, if, depending on how it's written out, if they're, and I don't know the extent of them being co-conservators, but if they have to give permission for each one or the other, Bessemer Trust is a fiduciary. They're going to have to stop in and they're going to have to see documents. And that was what Ingram was trying to do, is he was saying, hey, look, we're not getting financial transparency. We need somebody to see what the fuck is going on here, so she's not getting screwed out of money. So Bessemer Trust has now been appointed as a co-conservator for a fee, of course, and they are stepping in and they are helping. And he is none too happy about it. And he continues to have, control over major parts of her personal life, which I have a problem with as a 38-year-old. But like I said, maybe she does have a serious mental illness. I don't know. Let's see what else is there. Of course, his ex-wife. I've learned way too much about Britney Spears on this.
I know what you mean. Oh, by the way, I just looked at that photograph.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't see shit, but when you read it further, some people were saying that what it actually says is fax 911. I mean, why the fuck would you be telling anyone to fax 911? Who faxes 911?
Right. I don't. And I'm just saying, if you fax 911, I don't think you're going to get another fax machine. I think that defeats the whole purpose. Yeah, I mean, so from a legal standpoint, I get the free Britney movement on some aspects of, with my limited knowledge and understanding of legal shit. But seriously, having shit written in her eyelashes and stuff. I mean, come on, guys, like you can really use your gifts in a different way. And so basically, the ex-wife, Lynn Spears, has came out and she is allowed to observe the court proceedings as an interested party, but has no say in anything. And she's basically said, calling their relationship toxic. And she doesn't think that Britney should have to listen to her dad anymore. So basically, when we're talking about a conservatorship, we're talking about something where somebody is appointed over a person who needs it. So in the case of the probate court, in that same situation, we're talking about Alzheimer's or dementia. And in mental health court, we're talking about somebody who needs, some type of mental health. And they can do a couple different things depending on the situation. They can pay monthly bills, manage investments. They can purchase and sell large ticket items like cars, homes, and rental and property without discussing it with the conservatee. And they also file tax returns and other financial forms. In contrast, if you have a fiduciary person, in a fiduciary role, they would primarily be handling probate administration, which again, probate administration would be for somebody who's passed away, financial affairs management, personal care coordination, help with daily activities, health and well-being support, power of attorneys for financial estate settlement, and guardianship of minor child. And I found this really interesting because I did not know this, that other things that can be taken away from a conservatee once they are deemed that they are unfit and they are appointed a conservative is their ability to drive, their ability to make medical decisions for themselves, and their ability to vote. And they can also just randomly get appointed other things too, and they can admit them, and they can basically say what kind of prescription or what kind of drugs that the person will or will not take. And so that was really interesting, because of the simple fact that, we'll see a lot of times people become fall under conservatorships, and being that this is in probate court is weird, being that it's in place since 2008. And I mean, I would say I feel bad for her, but I don't feel bad for her because she's worth $60 million. But I don't know. It is kind of a sad state of affairs, but I mean, she's fucking a hot guy, and good on her.
I feel bad for her kids. I mean, I don't really know what's been going on there and why, but yeah, all of it sounds a bit fishy. I mean, definitely she's obviously had some mental health issues, and like you said, none of us really know what it is. At some point, her mum said she'd suffered from postnatal depression, but that wouldn't still be going on,
I was going to say, yeah, postnatal's a real thing, but I don't think it goes on for 18 years, right?
Although I don't know.
Well, no, I'm not talking about regret. I'm talking about postnatal depression.
So yeah, none of us really know what it is that she's going through, but she's certainly, they've certainly all made their money off her, and they've certainly all been happy enough with her carrying on doing her albums and her appearances and her tours and her residencies, and she's certainly been fit enough to do that and make money for them. So it just all seems a bit weird that she's not allowed to see her children and not allowed to make certain decisions for herself. It just seems quite odd, but of course we don't have all of the facts, do we, even about what it is that her issues are.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, like, why couldn't they go, okay, if it's, I mean, well, of course it would get them under the personal thing, but if they did, like, okay, you needed to run everything, Britney is control of her own stuff, but everything needs to go through Bessemer Trust. Okay. So then their fiduciaries, their job is to look out. They have a legal responsibility to look out for her. They could do that, but then it wouldn't fall under her personal stuff. And that's what I just think is crazy. And so, of course, Jamie Spears is taking a fee for being the conservatorship. And I'm not saying that there's a problem with him taking a fee or not, but the thing is that if you don't work and you're used to Kevin Federline or Dr. Dre's ex-wife, if you're used to a certain level of living, and it's like losing your job, right? If you say, oh yeah, my daughter can totally take care of her money now, well, now you have no fucking money. And, it's one of those things where there's a mental something that happens to people where, you make a certain amount of money and then you start to feel comfortable, but then you break a threshold and you start making a whole bunch more money. And then all of a sudden you become like lack mentality again. So it's this really weird thing. And so that's why you see where the people that are super mega rich, I mean, you see spouses that, I mean, I'm not going to say they didn't contribute, because I'm sure Dr. Dre's wife, helped and supported him and, maybe had a role in his business financial stuff. But I mean, I think that her attire was, she needed $100,000 a month for clothes. Bitch, there is not enough. I don't give a damn if you're buying the high end shit. Please tell me why your pussy is worth, just in clothing, $100,000 a month or some ludicrous amount like that. I mean, but you get to that point where you have so much money that you lose sight of what you can really operate on. And, with Kevin Federline's 20,000, he needs more than $20,000 a month for 2 junior high kids is beyond me, but yeah. So that was our episode. What was this called again, Zoe?
It's Britney, bitch.
There you go.
You like that one? I'm changing it every time.
Yeah, I know you keep doing it long, but now, so soon as we get off this phone, we're going to pull it up on YouTube so Zoe and I can sit there and watch the video. We'll probably take it off though, so that we won't get in trouble like our Halloween episode. I saw you and him.
I listened to that again yesterday,
dude. You have to.
Oh God, I was wetting myself at the end with his little bit at the end.
Dude,
don't touch that coat.
I want this man on the podcast. I want this. If anybody out there knows Oren Juice Jones, please fucking Mel at Hot Moon Gear, have him fucking,
we love you.
Yeah, because we love you. And then as always, follow us on social media at Finance is the Other F Word. Pick up our book, Finance is the Other F Word, Another F Word to Love. Follow Lily Lou Mittens on Instagram. Make sure if you have any feedback for us that you take advantage of our Google number, because it's quite snazzy. And that is 775-537-4352. Make sure that you visit financestheotherfword.com/packages to check out the financial planning packages. And as always, we'll see you guys back next time, hopefully with full strength. Anything to add, Miss Thing?
It's Britney, bitch.
Okay, there you go. You heard it. You heard it one last time. All right. Talk at you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. If you like us, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, we're out on the audio. You want to turn the visual off?
That was a good slurp.
It was a good slurp.